I wonder which relationship in your life has the biggest impact on your health and weight loss success. Is it that with your partner or partners? Is it your family members, your parents? Is it your relationship with food or with alcohol, with sweets, treats, those savory snacks? Or is it the relationship with yourself? Hi, I'm Brian. I'm a weight loss and life coach. And I help serial dieters change their habits, change their life, transform their thinking, create new healthy habits they can live so that they can live life at goal. And I believe that the number one relationship, of course, that has the biggest impact on our health and well-being is our relationship with ourselves. And I certainly know it from my experience. I've lost 50 kilos. I've maintained it for over 13 years now. And today, I want to ask you to really question your relationship with yourself, to really check in. You know, at the time of this recording, it's just gone past Valentine's Day. It's the week after, and for many people, that's got them thinking about their important relationships in their life. Now, whether you're single or partnered, whether you believe or celebrate or participate in the Valentine's Day events or not, you know, it certainly does get everyone questioning, you know, the priority in their relationships, how powerful their relationships, reflecting on what's working, celebrating what's working, acknowledging the important relationships in our life. Or for some people, it's been about despairing, about acknowledging what isn't working, what's lacking in their life. And today, I really want to help encourage you to nurture the relationships that are going to help move you towards the life you want, towards your goals. And that's what I want to share in this video. I also want to ask you, when you think about your relationships, partner or partners, friends, family members, parents, kids, your relationships with food, and then your relationships with yourself, your body, your self-image, your self-esteem, are they all where you want them to be? Let me know in the comments. And if they're not, which ones would you like to improve? It's so interesting, right? Because I think many of us know that, you know, we create so many of our unhealthy or unhelpful habits because of the relationship we have with ourselves. It's a symptom. I think sometimes people think it's backwards. I think sometimes people think they have poor habits. They overeat, eat unhealthy options, they don't take care of themselves, they don't do physical activity. And because of that, they create a body you don't like. I mean, I know that's where I started, right? When I had my extra 50 kilos in, I didn't like myself very much. But it's not because of my body. We often think of that, because of my body. Oh, I'm not very attractive. People don't like me very much, etc. Because of my body, because of my shape, because I take up too much space. I'm not conventionally attractive. All of those sorts of things. And then we start to criticize ourselves. We start to beat ourselves up. We're not meeting up to other people's expectations. We're not, we're not good enough. We come into blame and shame. And then we often then criticize ourselves. We tell ourselves that we're not smart enough, or not dedicated enough, or not focused enough. Just plain not good enough to make healthier choices, to stick to our diets, to follow our exercise plan. And then we get into criticism and judgment about ourselves, and then beat ourselves up further, which ultimately further erodes our self-esteem. It starts with our relationship with ourselves. And really, our relationship with ourselves is simply the thoughts we habitually think about ourselves. I really want you to think about that. I want you to think about all of the relationships you have in your life and ask yourself, what am I thinking about this other person in this relationship? And when you notice you've got good, amazing, powerful, loving, smitten relationships, right? Think about this new relationship energy. You're entering into a new relationship with someone else. And you're probably thinking lots of really positive thoughts about them. They're so funny, they're so interesting, they're really attractive, they're such a nice person, they've got a great personality, I'm really attracted to them, these sorts of things, right? New relationship energy. When we're thinking that, often our brain will heighten, emphasize the good and ignore, eliminate, minimize anything that's not so appealing, right? And that, of course, can then change over time. So we start relationships just thinking wonderful things about other people. And then we feel attracted to them. We feel we want to be around them. You know, friends, family. And yet, we often don't have that same relationship with ourselves. I really encourage you to think about that. Maybe let me know in the comments. Do you treat yourself as well as you do the other people in your life? Do you say as nice a things about you as you do about them? Have you invested time and energy and effort into your relationship with yourself as much as you have into others? There is an idea in coaching that if we look to where we spend our time, where we spend our effort, where we spend our energy, where we spend our money in our life, it often reveals to us what actually are our priorities. Have you ever done this one where you talk about looking after yourself, being healthy, making healthy changes, nurturing yourself as being a priority in your life? Right? Yeah, I know it's important to look after my own health. Right? You know that safety warning, back when we could get on planes. And they do the safety demonstration. And say, in the event of an emergency, make sure you fit your own oxygen mask first before you take care of someone else. And we can see how that's important, right? If we don't take care of ourselves, we can't take care of others. When we don't have a good relationship with ourselves, it's hard for us to give generously. When we're not filling our own tanks, we don't have a surplus to spill over into the people around us in our lives. And in fact, when we don't have a good relationship with ourselves and we're doing things for others, it often comes to people pleasing, to resentment. It becomes draining because we're giving and giving and giving and we're taking from ourselves. So, are you doing that? Have all of your unhealthy habits, or how many of your unhealthy habits, have a think, have come from a place of not loving yourself enough, not caring for yourself enough, not nurturing yourself enough? And what might change if you change that? Remember, our relationships are our thoughts about us and them. So our relationship with ourselves is really just what are our thoughts about myself? What am I thinking automatically, unconsciously, habitually? And if you're not sure, write those things down. Do a thought download. Actually write down my thoughts about myself. Write them down. And then you might want to think about, what do I want to think about myself on purpose? Right? I know when I was not feeling good about myself, I didn't care. I wasn't caring enough about myself to prepare healthy food, to make healthy choices. It'd be like, just grab whatever. I'll grab whatever's easy, whatever's convenient. And that's where I'd be getting the takeaway. I'd be having that pepperoni lovers pizzas with extra pepperoni, or that upsized Zinger Burger combo at KFC with wings for later. I'd be doing it because I didn't care enough about my body to feed it good nutrition, to look after it. Often our experience of the no, not often, always. Our experience of the world is a direct reflection of our thinking. Our external world will often mirror our internal world in some way. And don't feel bad if you've been doing this. So first of all, I want to say have some grace, have some kindness for yourself right now if you've been doing this. Because I know what it feels like. I did it for many years. Realistically, the first 30 years of my life. Certainly from my childhood, teenage years, all through those. Up until about the age of 30, when I finally realized that I was blaming everybody else, everything else in the world for the way I felt about myself. And I was waiting all this time for someone else to come and fix it for me. And I finally realized that I had to be the one to transform. I had to be the one to do the change. Now, the good news is, since then, now I spent a year actually losing the weight myself, figuring it out, changing that relationship with myself, getting it wrong a lot, trying lots of things. And it probably took me about 9 months at goal before I really got my head sorted out about, I actually get to choose. I realized I had done that. I'd been choosing better options for myself. I cared enough to do something about it, to make those healthy choices, to become aware of what I was eating and drinking, to start to listen to my hunger signals, to learn what choices were healthier, to find out the right portions for me, to restart doing some physical activity in my life and building that muscular strength, changing my body's shape and size. Now, all of that, I look back in retrospect and realized, because I decided that I was worth it. I decided that I did care enough to change. I got connected with why it matters that I get healthier. And yes, initially, superficially, it was because of my appearance, because of my history in my family of heart disease. Back at the time, when I look back 3 generations in my family, there were only 2 outcomes at that time. Either my forebears lived into their 90s or 100s, or they died of a heart attack. Those were the only 2 outcomes in 3 generations prior to me in my family. When I had my extra 50 kilos on, of course, I had to ask myself, and I was asking myself, which one am I signing up for here? I was going to lose the opportunity to enjoy my life, to experience my life, if I didn't do something about it. I was signing up for more miserable, more hard, more difficulty, more low self-esteem, self-criticism, self-judgment. I was signing up for more blame and more shame. I finally decided, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to start looking after me. And really that was the key. Making that switch to going, it does matter to me. I do care about me. I need to be the one to change myself. And I started to work out how to do that. And the good news is, and this is what I want to share with you. So if you've done it, don't beat yourself up. That doesn't help. We've tried it. It doesn't work. Instead, can I start to nurture my relationship with myself? How do I do it? How do I start bringing loving kindness, compassion, empathy, encouragement, support to myself? And that's what I want to offer to you. Because changing our relationship with ourselves is as simple as choosing different thoughts. We can choose differently. I said our relationship is just our thoughts about us and them. With any relationship with anyone outside of ourselves, but also true of our relationship with ourselves. Right? Our identity is really just the beliefs that we've decided are true about us. And beliefs, of course, are just thoughts we've thought repeatedly until we made them automatic, until we made them habitual. So it all starts with the thought. And because you have a human brain, you can change it. You can change it whenever you want, to whatever you want. You really can. I want to give you permission. I want you to give yourself permission To go, I could put anything in here if I want to think about and want to feel about myself. I get to choose. I was thinking the other day because a number of my clients have either just had or are just having a child or a grandchild come into their life. And I think about, our approach communally towards babies when they're first being born. We so often just choose to love them. We're going to love them. So often we're thinking we're going to love them even before they arrive, right? Still in gestation, still in the womb. We're deciding we're going to love them ahead of time. It's just a choice. We have absolutely no idea about them at all. We're just choosing. And then when the baby's born, we're often so filled with hope and with love and with amazement and awe because we can look at the possibility, the potential of that life. And I think most people like to believe that the baby's just being born. They have everything ahead of them. Anything is possible. They really can have an amazing life. They haven't yet learnt the rules, and I'm putting them in inverted commas because I don't think they're rules. They're just societal things that we get taught along the way. That somehow we learn in our schooling from our peers or from our parents and the way they're parented, or from our community or from our culture, that we don't measure up, or that we're not good enough, we're not smart enough, we aren't intelligent enough, or we aren't attractive enough, we're not as physically capable. But other people's judgment, and all of that is other people's judgment, only tells us about them. Never tells us anything about us. That potential for an amazing life, to become anything they want, to have a breadth of experience, is still within every single one of us. We don't lose it along the way. I think sometimes we forget it, or we get clouded by judgments, opinions, views from others, where we start to believe, we start to think are true. And it gets in the way of our success, of our living our fullest experience, from becoming who we might be and living the life we might want. And yet, I reiterate, it is available to us. It's available to you. You have that potential still within you. And at any moment of your choosing, you can start to switch. You just have to change your thinking. Choose some new thoughts to believe on purpose. And then live from them. Let's project those into the world and see what happens. When it comes to overeating and unhealthy eating, avoiding exercise, those sorts of things, so often it's because we're rejecting that part of ourselves, right? I feel bad, therefore I need to eat this food to feel better. We medicate ourselves with food. Or, I don't like that feeling, I'm uncomfortable. I have some discomfort about some thoughts I'm having, some shame, some judgment, some fear, some regret, some anger, some frustration, some depression. All those negative emotions. And I need to buffer against them. I can't handle them. It's too much for me. It's too painful. And so we try and buffer them. We distract ourselves from them. We numb ourselves to them with food, with drink, with alcohol. Even with procrastination, with scrolling Facebook or watching pornography or playing games or gossiping. Getting caught up, we get caught up trying to control everyone else's lives. Hello everyone in the Control Enthusiasts Club. Welcome. Byron Katie says, when we're over there in everyone else's business, we're not at home taking care of ourselves. And that's the invitation I want to make to you today. So, firstly, just to recognize if you have been doing this, that it's probably not helping. I'm sure you can see it. I've never seen it work successfully. Even those people who can try and hate themselves thin, criticize themselves healthy, right? It just doesn't work. Sometimes we think we have to be mean to ourselves or be bad to ourselves or criticize ourselves enough in order to feel bad enough to act. And I guess sometimes that does work. It's how that comes about. But it only works for the short term, right? It's not sustainable. Even if we get to goal that way, we're never going to stay there, because if we're feeling miserable, we're hating every moment of it, we're feeling bad about ourselves, we're not going to keep it. People change when they feel good about the process of change. Why is our brain to want to repeat? It's how we lose ourselves sometimes in the pleasure of distraction, the pleasure of the comfort food, the pleasure of the medication. But instead, we have to switch into nurturing. We have to agree to stop criticizing ourselves, to notice that litany of thoughts of judgment, criticism, and say no more. Many of you tell me you wouldn't treat a friend the way you often treat yourself. You wouldn't say out loud to someone you loved or care about the things you say to yourself. So I invite you today to say no deal, no more, I'm done with that. Now, will it come up sometimes? Yeah, your brain's thought about it a lot, so you have unintentional habits. They've practiced them a lot. The brain's neurons wired very, very tightly together, well myelinated. So you'll slip back into them occasionally, but every time you do, there's an invitation there to go, no brain. No longer believe that. Choosing not to believe. Now I'm going to decide something new about me. So first of all, it's possible for you. You can change your relationship with yourself. You can start to build trust, to build love, to build encouragement. And if you keep going, you can build awe and inspiration and power and courage and peace with yourself. Now, mastery is a constant practice. It's a discipline, not a destination. So it's something we have to repeat, right? Our beliefs about ourselves, our identity, are the thoughts we have repeated again and again. So if you've been criticizing, blaming, shaming yourself, I invite you just to stop now and just to say, thank you, I'm done. No more. Here's what I want to think instead. So how do you do it? How do you build a more loving, a more kind, a more compassionate relationship with yourself? How do you nurture yourself forward? Well, I have a couple of ideas for you today. So firstly, check in. Are you giving yourself mental and emotional space? As I said, have a listen to what your thoughts are about yourself. Maybe write them down. And then decide which ones feel good, which ones are encouraging, which ones are loving, which ones are kind, and which ones you want to keep on purpose, which ones inspire you, which ones fill you with gratitude. And if you don't have any, can you make some new ones? Can you brainstorm some ideas? You're not sure where to start? Start with the exact opposite of what you have been saying. I am good enough. I am smart enough. I am attractive enough to me. I love me. I'm worth taking care of. I want to take care of me. I'm worth nurturing. Think about what you would do to a loved one, or for, I should say, to do or for a loved one. What would you say to them? What would you do for them? You would have encouraging words. You'd have affirmation. You'd have reassurance. It's okay. You're going to get through this. You can do it. You're worthwhile. I'm here for you. I believe in you. Can you start saying some of those things to yourself? How often do you say, hey, me, I'm here for you. I got you. You can do this. Could you say that more? Could you come to more encouragement, more reassurance, more belief in your potential, more belief in your capabilities? Can you acknowledge yourself? It's so interesting, right? there's all the different love languages for managing relationships, and research shows different people have different sorts of needs. And I'm not going to go through all of them today, but things like words of affirmation is a love language for many people, right? Saying nice things. So can you use that love language on yourself? Can you say nice things to you? And practice believing them. Now, when you first start this, you might not believe it. You might go, no, I don't believe that. Okay. It just means you haven't practiced it. Belief is just a thought repeated enough to become automatic, to just decide that it is true for you. So when you're first starting out, you have to just go, brain, we're going to practice believing this. I'm going to try it on for now. So, can you say nice things in your mind and out loud about yourself? Can you just decide, from today, I'm no longer saying mean, nasty, judgmental, critical things about myself? If you want to enlist support of family members or friends, colleagues, tell them. Ask them to pull you up. And go, hey, you just said, switch it. Switch it to something positive. You can't go all the way to positive, and sometimes you can't. When I first started, I couldn't go all the way to positive. I couldn't believe I loved my body. I couldn't believe that I loved myself. I couldn't believe that I was good enough, because I was so ingrained in not good enough. I'm unattractive. I don't like my body. I hate myself. So instead, can you go to neutral, right? I have a body. This is my body. I own it. I own it. I choose how to treat myself. I choose how to treat myself. I can choose differently. I have the power of choice. Okay? Neutral thoughts that can get you started. So, words of affirmation. One of the other languages is touch, is physical, a presence. How do you feel about your body? How do you feel in your body? Do you take notice of all of the parts that feel great? Do you appreciate all the things your body can do and does do for you? Your heart's still breathing. Your heart's still pumping blood around your body, oxygenating your muscles and your mind. Your brain still works. It's got all these critical thoughts. Look at your brain working properly. Hey, it's got all these things working. It's working really well. Maybe my liver, my kidneys are flushing toxins out of my body all of the time. That's what they do. Right. How much gratitude have you had for your fingernails, for your eyelashes? How amazing is it that you have skin? It's the most amazing organ we have in our body is our skin. Well, maybe after the brain. Brain, the skin, I don't know. They're both up there on my top list. Right, but really notice this, right? I was cutting something up the other night, and I managed to cut across the top of one of my fingernails during the things. I just had the knife angle at the wrong angle. And I remember thinking at the time, oh, I'm really grateful I have fingernails. Yay, that's what they're there for. Awesome. They did their job. Good work, fingernails. Right, that positive encouragement. Okay, I'm getting sidetracked. Get in touch with your physical body. Now, sometimes this can be just touch. How comfortable are you being present with you, with your own touch? Can you do physical things like yoga, stretching, movement, a workout to get in touch with your body? Can you dance? Maybe it's something more simple. Can you have a bath? Do something to relax your body? Depending on where you're watching, if it's really hot, can you put yourself into a cooler location? Can you feel the breeze? If you're cold, if you're watching from America or something at the moment, can you warm your body? Can you move it? Can you put a blanket around yourself? Can you sit by a fire? Can you give your body comfort? Give your body comfort. This is part of the physical manifestation of looking after yourself. Can you give your body comfort? Now, I recommend you don't use food and drink for those. Can you do it in a healthy way? I heard an idea from Gretchen Rubin, who is the creator of the Happiness Project and a leading author. And she said, she was talking about relationships, and she said, can you give your partner a gold star? Right? Can you just acknowledge something they've done, even if it's their job or what they're supposed to do or something? Can you just acknowledge them for their effort, for their contribution to the relationship? And I really thought about that. Can you give yourself a gold star? Can you acknowledge the things you do for yourself? Do you brush your teeth? Why? Do you look after yourself? Right? Try and find ways that you are. And if you wish, then think about, how can I nurture myself more? Question I learnt from my coach, Brooke Castillo, who said, how can I love you more? How would you answer that for yourself? What would you be doing if you loved yourself more than you are? Maybe write those in the comments. Let me know. One of the other languages, and there's more, I won't talk about them all, but is time. How much time are you investing in yourself, in your relationship with you? How much time are you giving with yourself to just be present with you, in your body, right now, with what's going on? Are you acknowledging your feelings? Are you cultivating positive experiences for yourself? Are you lifting your mood? Maybe going for a walk, journaling, listening to music, saying something nice about yourself, coming to gratitude. You're spending time with yourself. Time, touch, talk. Of course, are you looking after your body physically? Are you putting good nutrition in? Are you moving your body healthily? Are you giving your body enough water, enough sleep? Are you creating space for the life you want? Or have you given it all away to everybody else? If you have, at any time you want, you can choose to take some of it back, to start that process of building that love, trust, encouragement, support, creating a healthy relationship with yourself. It's available whenever you choose it. Which reminds me of a couple of quotes that I wanted to share with you today. And the first one is from Rumi, who says, because I always have a choice, I choose love. Because I always have a choice, I choose love. You always have a choice. So can you choose more? I believe we should love ourselves. I believe it is the most important thing, because when we love ourselves, we're much more likely to make those caring, nurturing choices. We have to choose it. It doesn't just happen. We make it happen. And remember, you can't give from an empty tank. You nurture your relationship with yourself. You cultivate more love, more joy, more gratitude, more appreciation in you, for you. You'll have more of those things to give. You'll be able to be more generous, more caring, more compassionate, more kind to others. But it starts from within. We have to practice it at home. As RuPaul says, if you can't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love anyone else? Can I get an amen up in here? Amen, sister. I believe you do have to love yourself first. After all, you're the one you'll be spending the rest of your life with. So, let me know in the comments, how could you start to create a more loving relationship with you today? And of course, if you need more help with that, reach out to me at livemorelife.com.au. You can book a free consultation. Let's have a chat. Let's help you become more of the person you want to be, have more of the relationship you want. And you know what's really fun in terms of weight loss, in terms of health? We make that switch and we start treating our body better, feeding it better, watering it better, moving it more, and we stop sabotaging our efforts. We stop undermining our success. We stop going off plan, binging, eating unhealthy choices, overeating. Why? Because we recognize that we love ourselves enough to no longer do that. I like to say I no longer sabotage my health for anyone else's feelings. Why? Because I'm worth it. I'm worth looking after. I made that decision in my journey. And by nurturing it, by building that relationship, I've made it true in my life. I am worth looking after. And so I look after me. It's why I've maintained my 50 kilo loss for coming on 13 years now. Alright. I want you to have your success. And I want you to have the life you love. So let's start with a relationship with yourself. Thank you for being here. Give me a like, give me a heart. Share this on your personal page or with a friend. Tag a friend in the comments if you think they could use hearing this today. Otherwise, have an amazing day. Go love yourself just a little bit more. It's the most important relationship you'll ever have.